On the show in Wheelspin, we drive the recently launched Maruti Suzuki Ciaz. In Wheelspin, we drive the Skoda Rapid as it gets a new diesel engine along with an automatic gearbox. On the road, we drive the Hyundai Grand i10 from Mysore to Ooty. Maruti Suzuki, India's largest car manufacturer, is well known for their small cars and is a key player in the compact segment. But that does not stop them from aspiring for a slice of action in the bigger C or the mid-size segment. They had earlier launched the Baleno and the SX4, but now both these cars are history and they are making another attempt to enter the C segment with their latest offering, the Ciaz. The question now is, will this Ciaz fulfill Maruti's aspirations of being a key player in this segment? Well, let's find out. In Maruti's lineup, the Ciaz will be the biggest car, and when I say big, it doesn't really mean very big, because the Ciaz measures in at just under 4.5 meters, but it's bigger than what would be its main competitors like the Honda City or the Hyundai Verna. And the flowing lines on the Ciaz ensures that it looks big enough to attract a premium car buyer. Maruti, in its over 40 years of existence in India, has hardly had any presence in segments above the B, so it does have its stars cut out to attract buyers who are looking for a biggish car which is well made but also has a brand name to back it up. Consequently, Maruti has gone flat out to give the Ciaz everything they got and to make it an attractive proposition. The Ciaz here is a completely new car sitting on a completely new platform, and there are hardly any design carryovers from the SX4. How you like the design, I leave that to you to decide. But as far as I am concerned, this looks predictably like a Maruti. Very conservative in terms of styling, lacks the design flair or the flamboyance. But then it is designed probably to please many rather than excite a few. A very typical Maruti thing to do. Well, if in Ciaz, Maruti hasn't given us the best looking car here, then what they have done instead is what can be called the USP of the car. In spite of the fact that it's not a very big car, it still shows that it has been cleverly designed to give what is needed in a car the most: space. The wheelbase is 2,650 millimeters, which is again more than what you would find in many C-segment cars. And another thing Maruti has done to the Ciaz is to give it lots of bells and whistles. So if you are used to the feature-starred Maruti cars, then you will be pleasantly surprised at what the Ciaz will offer you. It's the interiors of the Ciaz which is a major departure from any other Maruti car that you might have driven recently. Maruti, in an attempt to make it a little more upmarket and premium, has given it all it's got, and the result clearly shows. The interiors are really nice, plush and very comfortable. This top trim that I'm driving, the ZXi Plus, comes with leather seats, a leather-wrapped steering wheel with multifunction buttons on it. The instrumentation is chrome ring, looks quite nice, and there is a large big display here. Okay, the display here is being a bit temperamental today. It comes on and goes off for some reason, but what it does is gives you a host of information which you will find very useful, and it also shows the display of the reversing camera, something which will come in very handy when you park the Ciaz in a crowded market. And what really pleases me is to see that not only a lot of features have been added onto this car, but the build quality too has improved significantly. The best is reserved for the second box of the car, the rear seats. The Ciaz sits on a wheelbase 2.6 meters and is also the widest car in its segment. And the result is quite obvious. Even if you are built along the lines of a sumo wrestler, you will feel no dearth of legroom, headroom or shoulder space. In fact, if space is what you're looking for, then I would say look no further, because no other C-segment car even comes close to the Ciaz in terms of just backseat space, and all this looks quite tastefully done too. So I think the backseat of a Ciaz would be a nice place to spend time in. Add to this little things like rear AC vents, a power socket, bottle holders, and large window here which permits a lot of sunshine to come in, and this makes the cabin a rather cheerful place. As to be expected, the Ciaz will be available with both the diesel and the gasoline engines. While the gasoline engine is the K-series engine, the latest one which has been worked on in terms of the NVH, and obviously this has improved to make the drive much more efficient and smooth. But the diesel still comes from Fiat, the 1.3-litre multijet, which too has been retuned and remapped for this car. But what Maruti has done, and it seems quite impossible at first glance, is to extract the kind of fuel efficiency which is absolutely class-leading. The gasoline engine here gives a fuel efficiency of over 20 kilometers to a litre, which again is a class-leading thing. But it's the diesel which really takes you by surprise, and a pleasant one at that. The fuel efficiency is over 26 kilometers, and this is not only class-leading, but I think this is what might turn the Ciaz into a complete winner, because there are plenty of buyers in this segment who are looking at fuel efficiency as their topmost priority. What I'm driving is the gasoline engine, what Maruti calls internally the K14 series engine. And Maruti claims that they have done a lot of work in terms of reducing the NVH. But as I drive this car, I realize that this certainly isn't one of the most refined or the smoothest engine I have ever driven. In fact, when you fire the engine initially, it sounds quite rough and harsh. But as the revs build up, it tends to get smoother. And if you use this car on a regular basis, I don't think you will mind this slight lack of refinement, because what you will focus on is the fuel economy. And if the Ciaz gives anything close to 20.7 kilometers to a litre as claimed in the ARI certification, then I think you would be a happy man, because that's really good for a car this size and with so many features in it. This engine is mated to a 5-speed gearbox, and all of you who are used to driving Maruti of the older days, you will recall that what a joy it was to use that gearbox from Suzuki. Suzuki in fact made some of the best gearboxes in the business. The gearbox here does the job sufficiently well. It's not really bad, but what you will miss if you are used to a Maruti is the gearboxes which were super refined and slotted in so very well. The pleasure of gear changing is not there in this car. I think the suspension is tuned quite right, the handling is not too bad, and neither is the ride quality. In fact, if you spend time on the back seat, chances are that you would be quite a happy man. The Ciaz here on the top trim, the ZXi Plus, rides on 16-inch wheels as compared to the 15-inch wheels on the lower trims. And I think the 16-inch wheel has added more stability to the car, and you can feel the difference, especially when you're cruising on the highway or cornering hard. After having spent some time with the Ciaz here, now it's time for me to give it a scorecard. To begin with, if I were to rate it in terms of handling, performance, drivability, I will give it a B. In terms of design, I will again give it a B. But where I will give it top marks and an A is in terms of fuel efficiency as well as space. And considering that this is a very important criteria for most buyers in this segment, this can be a deal clincher actually for the Ciaz. But one more important thing remains, and that's the price. Maruti has positioned this car as a premium car that's packed in a lot of features, and now the challenge for them is to price it right. So let's see what the price looks like. If you were expecting competitive prices just because the Ciaz bears the Maruti logo, then you will not be disappointed, because the Ciaz is priced very well for a car this size and with so many features as well. And it looks like the Ciaz might just take the competition home to some of the other brands and do for Maruti what it has so far failed to do, which is to create an impression in the big car segment. The Ciaz will be sold in 6 trims for the petrol variant, including an automatic as well. And for the diesel, it will be available in 4 trims to give you enough choice to pick the one that will suit your needs. The prices start at Rs 6.99 lakhs for the base petrol, while the diesel will be priced at Rs 8.04 lakhs. What I'm driving today comes from a manufacturer which simply likes to call itself simply clever. Got it? Not quite. Well, it's the Czech manufacturer Skoda, and they recently relaunched their sedan, the Rapid, with a few changes. Well, hardly that many changes, but nevertheless, I would say clever changes which should add value to the car. And what lies under this bonnet here is the biggest change. The 1.5-litre diesel engine made it to a 7-speed DSG gearbox. And that, I say, is a clever change. Well, the changes to the new Rapid are not that many, but what you can do to make your Rapid stand out a bit more than the others is to opt for the package the company is offering, aptly called the Black Edition package. And what you get are blacked out headlamps, black alloy wheels, which incidentally are new design, black OVRMs, and a black roof as well. Well, you don't see it in this car, but you can get one. And what all this will do to your car is to make your Rapid a little more striking than the rest of them, which in itself is not a mean achievement considering the way the Rapid looks. The black package is available in the Rapid as an optional package in both the manual as well as the automatic gearbox. This is purely cosmetic and it just adds to the look of the car, and the cost for doing this is around rupees 20,000 depending on the part of the country you live in. Well, if you get inside the Rapid here and try to play this game of spot the difference, I think you will have a very easy time because there is hardly any difference. This looks almost similar to the old outgoing Rapid model, except for the fact that this has a card holder here and the car comes with parking sensors, very useful features, and I think it will contribute both to convenience and safety, and in that sense it value adds to the car. But the Rapid continues to remain a bit ergonomically challenged. The cup holders here are too far out, and if you move the steering wheel and adjust it, it blocks off half the instrumentation. And the bottle holder here remains very, very shallow, so the bottle keeps on falling out. Well, many of the Volkswagen and the European cars have this problem, and I think we'll have to wait till the next generation Rapid comes in and addresses this problem. But what now I'm going to do is jump into another car. Okay, it doesn't come with the black package, but what it does come with is the 1.5-litre new diesel engine and the DSG gearbox. Time for me to drive that. As you might notice, this Rapid I'm driving now looks different. And it should be, because this is the standard one you're going to get if you don't shell out the 20,000 difference for the black package. The Rapid looks pleasant enough, and with a ground clearance of 168 millimeters and a turning radius of 5.3 meters, it makes for a practical everyday sedan. The biggest change in this new Rapid is, of course, what lies under the bonnet. The 1.5-litre diesel unit. It's a new unit in the sense that this is the first time that Skoda is using it in the Rapid, but the unit comes from Volkswagen and it does duty on both the Polo and the Vento. And what it has done to the car is give it more torque. Now the Rapid generates 250 Newton meters of torque, and it's a very refined unit. The power delivery is quite linear. You don't feel any turbo lag in this. But this new 1.5-litre engine is not a very quiet engine. In fact, when you fire it first, it's quite audible. But as you settle down into the cruise mode, so does the engine. But the best thing is that this engine is now mated to a 7-speed DSG gearbox. DSG stands for direct shift gearbox. And in fact, the shifting here is extremely smooth and efficient. What makes this car a pleasure to drive, in fact, is the combination of this new 1.5-litre engine, which is both powerful, fuel efficient, as well as smooth, along with the DSG gearbox here. The gearbox is one of the best in the business, no two ways about that, and this is what all automatics should be, smooth and refined. In fact, if you drive this automatic here, there is no reason why you will ever shift to a manual one. But in case you want to drive fast and feel the power more, you can always shift down to the sports mode here, and that will make it only faster. The suspension on this Rapid is set on the stiffer side, so the chances are, if you're driving on a bad road, you will feel all the bumps coming in into the cabin. The Rapid, with its small compact size, also makes for a very suitable candidate for running around in city traffic for the everyday chores, and lately Skoda has been focusing on customer service and satisfaction, so that's an additional boost for the Rapid. The interiors are pleasant and functional, and the dual-tone color scheme gives it a nice look, along with features like a good sound system, adjustable steering wheel with an uncluttered instrumentation, and enough space to make the Rapid a car to consider if you're in the market for a smallish sedan, and the overall build quality gives you the confidence to do so. If you're looking for a small sedan which combines the economy of a diesel engine with the convenience and drivability of an automatic gearbox, then look no further. This Rapid here should do the job very, very well. And Skoda, for good measure, has thrown in the option of a petrol engine as well. But my choice clearly is this one, thanks mainly to the DSG box, which ensures that you spend some quality time behind the wheel of this car. And in terms of pricing, the Rapid is not so badly priced because competition offers the DSG box at a much higher price point. In terms of pricing, the basic Rapid is priced at Rs 7.22 lakhs for the petrol with the manual transmission, while it's the top of the line with the diesel 1.5-litre engine and the DSG gearbox will set you back by Rs 10.97 lakhs. And considering that this is a diesel with an automatic, it is not really that badly priced.
Well, what do you do when you have a nice car like this at your disposal? You get back behind the wheel and drive some more. That's exactly what I have in mind as I explore South India in the Hyundai Grand i10. As you might know, I started my trip from Bangalore, spending a day in Mysore, and next I'm off to Ooty. Now, the British established Ooty in the 19th century as the summer headquarters of the Madras government. And it soon got the nickname Snooty Ooty because it's where all the fancy folk descended when it got too hot in the plains. As you can see, I'm already wearing my shawl and sweater in preparation for the cool mountain air. Let's go! Ooty is set amidst the beautiful Nilgiri Hills, about a 4-hour drive from my previous destination, Mysore. The shortest route from Bangalore to Ooty is around 270 kilometers via SH17. It's a very pretty drive because you pass through the Bandipur Mudumalai Forest Reserve area as you exit Karnataka and enter Tamil Nadu. You're likely to see elephants and deer amidst the foliage on your way. The more I drove the Hyundai Grand i10, the more I enjoyed it. The compact size made it very drivable on the meandering hill roads, while the inside was very comfortable. The leather-wrapped steering wheel felt good to hold, and the multifunction buttons on it are a huge convenience. Its long list of smart features include a stereo system with great sound, which made this drive lots of fun. Add to this the fuel efficiency. The Grand i10 has a fuel efficiency figure of 18.9 kilometers to a litre. And I can tell you that in actual driving conditions, you are not very far from that figure. I've just arrived in Ooty and I thought I'd make my first stop the Botanical Gardens. What better way to start your day than to amble around the lush green lawns and observe all the rare tree species.
Established in 1848, the government-owned botanical gardens are situated on the slopes of the Doddabetta Peak. The terraced lawns are maintained by the Tamil Nadu Horticultural Society and extend over an area of 22 hectares. That's large enough to spend a whole day in if you like strolling slowly amid sprawling lawns and beautiful flowers, stopping now and again to laze in the grass.
After spending some time ensconced in nature at the Botanical Garden, it was time for me to move over to another very popular destination in Ooty, the lake.
I've come to paddle around Ooty Lake. Now this lake is actually artificially created. It was developed by the British in 1824. What they did was dam the water that was flowing down the mountain streams into Ooty Valley. But now it's become a really popular recreational facility with tourists flocking here for boat rides. And even though it can get quite crowded in the tourist season, it's also a lot of fun. So I recommend that you come to the boathouse and rent a boat to either pedal or row around at your leisure like I'm doing.
The town centre can feel rather chaotic with its dozens of shops and haphazardly placed new buildings. But I will admit that it's fun to shop around for locally grown fruit, tea and herbal oils. Fortunately, Ooty is also full of lovely parks and lawns and several Raj-era bungalows, which tend to be the most charming places to stay at. Though it has become increasingly commercial over the last couple of decades, the spirit of the old Ooty still survives.
As a self-confessed bookworm, I'm always thrilled when my travels allow me the opportunity to visit an old library. So I've come to check out the Nilgiri Library, which is over 150 years old and boasts of a collection of over 60,000 books. This is any book lover's paradise.
The quaint Nilgiri Library houses stacks of books that are leather-bound and embossed with gold, with hand-cut pages. It's a treat to come here to admire these treasures, especially if, like me, you mourn the demise of the printed word in the digital age.
Next, I wanted to look at some of the old colonial architecture which Ooty is famous for. What could be prettier than a visit to St. Stephen's Church?
Another example of Ooty's charming colonial architecture is St. Stephen's Church. It lies perched above the city centre and was built in the 19th century. Now, the stained glass inside the church is just beautiful, and it also has these large wooden beams which are said to have been brought by elephants from the palace of Tipu Sultan over 120 kilometers away. The church also has plaques and slabs donated by colonial era churchgoers. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like inside.
Ooty is a destination which can cater to people of different tastes. You can walk in the hills and take in the cool mountain air, or spend many lazy hours just boating on the lake. If you prefer to explore the marketplace, then it has a bustling bazaar area. Whatever it is that you enjoy, Ooty is sure to enchant you with its old world charm and natural beauty.